What is up, my loves, and happy Friday. So excited to be here with you guys talking about how to ask the hard-hitting questions to your salon owner or manager or your leadership team. I'm sure all of us as stylists, whether you be in a booth rental position or a commission salon, any of the above, have all been in the position before where you don't agree with maybe something that's going on in the salon. You feel like you need to be making more money. You feel like the decisions happening in the salon are not so great. You feel like the salon needs to jump into this decade and have a remodel. Whatever it is you feel like needs to change in order for you to be happy in your position, how do we make that happen? And how do you do it in a way where you don't offend leadership, you get your point across, but everybody stays on good terms? Okay, Lisa, thank you so much for the heads up. So glad you're here. Mary, I'm glad you're here. Tracy says it's fixed. Okay, awesome. So what I'm going to give you guys is a couple of questions that have come through and my 5-step kind of checklist for how to navigate the process so that nobody's feeling gets hurt, nobody feels attacked, and you get the outcome that you're looking for. Sean is in the room. I posed this question to him on the last video I started. Sean is oh my gosh, and Gary's here. Gary, I'm so glad you're here too. Sean and Gary. So Gary is a salon owner. Sean is a barbershop owner. And I would love to know from you guys, if you can type in the comments, and any other salon owners too, how you like to be approached when somebody in the salon feels like something isn't going right, they're not happy with how something is being run, they're not happy with their position or whatever. How do you want to be approached by somebody from your team? Let me introduce myself and then I'll roll. Hi Tara, so glad you're here. My name is Britt and I'm a social media and marketing strategist just for hairstylists. So my goal is to make your life as a stylist a little bit easier, a little bit more organized, help you to spend your time and money in the right places, quit wasting it in the wrong places so you can grow your clientele the quicker, faster, easier way using today's technology. It's never been easier to grow a clientele. You just have to know the tools at hand to do so. And I'm here to share some of those things with you today. If you like what we're talking about, as always, you can give the Facebook thumbs up, tap the screen and give hearts. But I like it best when we keep the conversation going. My favorite thing about Facebook Live is being able to connect with you all. So keep the comments rolling in. So if you don't know my history, I was a stylist. I'm licensed in the state of California still. I got my license in 2007 and worked behind the chair for a couple of years before I was promoted to the position of salon director for an absentee owner. So the owner was not in the building, and he didn't do hair anymore. He was out doing another business. So when things came up with the team, they came to me. So I was the one who was hit with the hard questions when people were unhappy or when they were happy or whatever it was. I was the person they turned to. So what I want to share with you is my take on how I liked to be approached, how people would approach me, where I would immediately say, doesn't matter what you say from now on, my answer is going to be no. And the way that people approach me with problems that made me just choose to fire them instead. So I want to talk about kind of all of the situations that came up and when I knew it was time for an employee to move on, like when I knew that we weren't a good fit anymore, because I think it's important for you as a stylist to know too, some of the issues are frustrations that can be worked out and some of the things are just non-negotiables on both sides. So being able to kind of differentiate between the two and figure out where to go from there. Tara, so glad you're here. Thank you. That's so sweet. Okay, so I want to read one message that came through, but I get messages like this all the time. Okay, Sean, who's a barbershop owner, says, I'm very open. They can just come to me and have a conversation with me about it. If they have an idea of something that may work better, I'm always open to hearing it. Sean, props to you. That's exactly how you should be running your team. I love that. Okay, so this is a question that came through. I'm a commission stylist and I'm wondering when is the right time to ask for an increase in my commission or the best possible way to word asking about it without coming off as entitled or ungrateful. I've been at the salon over a year now. When I first hear that, I'm actually a little bit disheartened by this person's owner because I feel like now the employee's in a position where they're just going through the motions, doing hair. They don't know where they're at in their career. They don't know when they might be eligible for a raise, if they're eligible for a raise. Is there kind of any system or structure? They have no idea. They're flying blind. And when people get to this place is when people choose to leave the salon because they feel like they don't know what they're working for anymore, which is not true because I'm sure the owner is, at the end of the day, a good owner and loves this stylist. I'm going to make the assumption. I know this person's an amazing person. So I'm going to assume that they want to make it work. But now this stylist, unbeknownst to the owner, is at this crossroads of like, I feel like I should be making more money, but I don't even know how I can approach you to talk about it. that is a problem. So I do put that burden on the salon owner in this instance and in most instances. I have a mega blog post coming out in a couple of weeks talking about what stylists today are looking for in salon owners, because I do believe that salon owners don't realize that today's stylist wants something very different than a stylist from 5 years ago even wanted. The expectations are very different, so it's really important to know what the stylist is expecting. Every stylist needs to know what the expectation is, what you expect them to do as far as if they're a booth renter, what do they need to do to be a part of your salon team? I realize a booth renter is not an employee, but if they're going to be a part of your culture, what is the expectation there? You just have to tell me, because if I don't know, you can't hold me to the expectation because I have no idea. If I'm a commission stylist, I need to be having reviews with you every 90 days. I'm an employee. We need to be talking, there needs to be an annual review. We need to be talking all the time about what's going on. So, and then I need to know what my goals are and when I'm going to be able to make more money, or whatever it is, whatever your structure is in your salon, how I achieve those things so that there isn't this gray area. Because what's going to happen is if there is no system, this stylist is going to approach the owner and the owner is going to give some vague response because they don't even know, or they're going to make something up on the spot. So that's issue number one, is if you're an owner in the house right now, it's really important that you have a system in place, because I get emails like this every couple of weeks. So this is something that stylists are wondering, like, where is my career going? No longer do stylists hop in the industry and just like let it ride. Like, we'll see what happens. They want to know what's coming up and what's next and how to make more and how to advance. And that's why a lot of commission stylists choose to rent, is because they feel like they top out, because salons don't give opportunities for them to advance. So that's something to think about. I get questions all the time too from salon owners or from stylists who feel like they're being paid illegally or inappropriately, and they're fearful to talk to their owners. Owners, if you're in the house and you're in a place where your employees are scared to talk to you, they will leave. So if you are feeling like, man, I wish I could find the good stylist who would stick around, challenge yourself, and are you open, like Gary and Sean were both open to hearing from feedback from their team? Do you have a system in place that allows people to know where they're going and what they're doing and how to approach you? If not, that's going to be step one. Okay. Now, my 5-step process for talking to a salon owner or leader if you're having a challenge in your salon. So step one is be in a positive place when you're going to have that conversation. So I know from experience, and any other salon leader is going to know this too, where a stylist comes in, I always say coming in hot. When somebody comes in hot because they're pissed off because something just went wrong, and we had a multi-level salon, so they'd come charging down the stairs to my office and be like, Britt, I need to talk to you. And I would listen to them and I would let them vent, and at the end they'd look at me and they'd be like, so? And I had nothing. I had nothing to give you. I have heard you. I've heard what you have to say. I understand. Let's try and talk about this tomorrow. Or, perfect, I will circle back with you on that. If you come in hot, there is going to be no result. I'm not interested in coming to a resolution with you when you are just venting and angry. I will listen to you, but I'm not going to do anything to make the situation necessarily better for you. We need to be in a place where we're having a conversation. If you want to just come in and scream at me for 15 minutes, I'm not interested in compromising with you, because it doesn't sound like we're going to come to a compromise. So I find that you need to come into the conversation when you're calm, and often it's not in the heat of the moment. So if something has upset you, or if you feel like I'm not getting paid enough, or if you feel like this, I had people come in hot where they were like, you know what, this paint color annoys me, what are we going to do about this? I don't know, let's talk about the paint when we're like going to have a constructive conversation about it. So if you're upset about something, take a minute, and then step two is going to be set aside time to talk. So don't come in hot. It's not a good time to approach leadership when you're angry in the moment. That's not a time where either of you are going to come to a resolution. So instead, even if you need to, in the heat of the moment, say, Britt, we need to set aside time to talk. Something's weighing heavy on my mind. Can we do that? Yes, absolutely. Are you available tomorrow morning at 9? Yes. Great. I'll see you there. That's all I need to know. I don't even need to know what we're going to talk about, but I don't want to have a conversation with you when you're angry. So let's set aside a time where I know we're meeting, you're not angry, and we can both be on a good place. And you can come in frustrated, but you're not going to come in angry. Because when you come into leadership angry and upset, they're going to shut down and not listen. I know that's how I was, and I would be willing to bet most leaders are too, because if you feel like you're being attacked, and nobody wants to be attacked. So set aside time. I have given this advice before, set aside time, and stylists have said, I would love to do that, but my salon owner is not open to making time to talk to me, then you're working at the wrong salon. That is a problem. If you're a booth renter or a commissioned stylist and the owner of the business isn't willing to set aside time to talk to you one-on-one, it's a major problem and a big red flag that is totally unacceptable. And they might not be able to talk to you tomorrow, but sometime next week, it's really, really important. Dawn says, I feel like this is the same when speaking to employees too. Set aside a different time. It's less personal. I totally agree. And it also stops the it actually stops the complaining. Because you know how someone could go up to you and be like, you know what's annoying? And then all day long, all you're hearing is complaints and annoyances. And it really brings down the whole energy of the space. If it's not a salon where it's acceptable just to vent all day long and it has to be a separate conversation, it really keeps the vibe more positive. So the more you can do that, the better. Number 3, come in organized and with an idea. So nothing would make me more mad than somebody to be like, I feel like I'm not making enough money. Okay. Tell me more about that. That would make me upset. But if this commission stylist came in and said, listen, Britt, I feel like I've been working for you for a year. I'm really happy here. I would like to make more commission. Do we have benchmarks in place? What do I need to do to get to that next level? What does that next level look like? And then beyond that level, what's beyond it for me? And if the owner's kind of like, well, I don't know, I haven't ever gotten that far, it would be really nice if the stylist could say, well, I've talked to some other stylists just very casually, and here are some systems I know exist, just some options to think about, and I'm not putting pressure on you today to have an answer, but it is something that's very important to me. That comes into number 4, be patient yet persistent. So if you're going to approach a salon owner or leader about anything like this, a price increase, you don't like the salon decor, you don't like a salon decision, it's unrealistic to put somebody on the spot and then be like, okay, great, so when is that going to be fixed? You need to give them a minute to digest it and come up with a plan, because I think there's also a misconception that salon owners are bad people or they're out to get you. There are bad salon owners out there. There are bad employees out there. Not every person in the world is good, but for the most part, if you're working for a good owner, which I hope none of you are choosing to work for bad owners, they do want what's best for you, but they also have to keep the business afloat. And keeping a salon afloat is very expensive. The overhead in our industry is shockingly high, more than I think most people know and understand. So I know of salons who do like a 70% commission split. I literally don't know how that's possible. Well, I do know how it's possible, because that means that the other stylists with lower commissions are floating that inflated commission, because that 30% that the salon is keeping is like paying for the employee to be in the building and nothing more. There is no profit happening there. So the idea that salon owners are greedy, there may have been a time when that happened, but it's really expensive to have in a commission salon right now. So oftentimes, it's not that they don't want to give you what you want, but they need time to think it over. So give them a little bit of time, patience but persistence. So give them a little bit of time, but circle back. If in 2 weeks you've heard nothing, it's okay for you to say, listen, I know we talked about that a couple weeks ago. I just want to know when I can expect to hear an answer. At that point, it would be very okay to put a deadline on it. When can I expect to hear that? And if the answer is, you know what, I'm still working on it, say, I totally understand. For me, I would like to hear something back by the end of the month. And it is okay to say that. It shouldn't take a leader a month to come up with a decision on something. It might take more than 3 days, but it shouldn't take that long. So it's okay for you to put a deadline on something and stand up for yourself a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, number 5 is be open to compromise. So if you come in and say, I don't like the color that wall is painted, it's not your salon, so you might not get a say in that. And the salon owner might say, okay, is it really that wall that's bothering you, or is it other things? Are there bigger things that are bothering you? Yeah, well, the whole salon is dated. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So maybe I'm not going to paint the salon, but maybe I can bring in some new whatever, X, Y, or Z. Is there another thing that we can do that's going to make you feel better about it? I feel like this is a bigger conversation. So coming in with demands is never going to work out well, but being open to compromise and hearing ideas, I think from both sides, from the owner and from the stylist, is really important today. I think that everybody just wants to feel like they're heard. And just repping for the salon owners, I really do believe they want what's best for you. They want their salon to be modern and welcoming and full of clients too, but sometimes they don't know how to make that happen. I was speaking with a stylist a couple weeks ago who was like, our salon is straight up from the early 90s, which I've seen those salons, they do still exist. And I know we could be doing so well if we could just change our decor to be more shabby chic. How do I convince her to do that? And I was like, well, her style might not be shabby chic. That might not work out for you. But there is another way for you to be like, listen, when I look at the top 3 salons in our city, they look like this. And I feel like we could be those salons and then more. But what I notice is the striking difference is that they do have some modern touches or whatever. What can we do to incorporate some of those things? I'm happy to brainstorm with you. We can create vision boards together. But sometimes they need to feel supported, like you're trying to help them too. The other thing is that the salon is their baby. So when you criticize the salon decor, it does have a little bit of a sting. Even if they're open to hearing it, know that sometimes it's hard to hear, but it doesn't mean that they're hopefully fully closed off. So know that that's where they're coming from too. But if you are a stylist and you feel like you need to approach your leadership about something, you should always be able to do so. If you are cooled down, make a plan to speak with them, come in with a plan, be open to compromise, and be patient yet persistent. It shouldn't be a problem for you. If you are working with a salon owner who is not willing to listen to what you have to say, not willing to make time to speak with you, instead of having a conversation with you, wants to talk via text, you're working at the wrong salon. It's time to go. That is totally unprofessional. That may have been okay 10, 15 years ago. It's not okay today. You should always be able to schedule a face-to-face with your salon owner or leader at any given time to talk to them about anything. So I hope that this has empowered you. I hope it gives you the tools to have that open door conversation. And salon owners, I hope that you feel like you can come to the table with a plan too and really raise the bar as far as what stylists are looking for today. So much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, loves.